Right at it. Right at it. Oh, he's done it again. Just as he did at the John Deere for his first win.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to episode 157 of the Go Get That podcast. This is 4 days removed from Jordan Spieth's exit at the PGA Championship. Lot to discuss in this kind of 2-in-1 episode. Had a busy few days. But we are in the full swing of summer now. It's golf season. I'll be at a lot of events, starting with Memorial next week. So excited for that. Jordan will be back at Oakmont with me. Dan could be a late entrant. Never know. Never know. Could always double up on one of the hotel beds if needed. But hoping that, who knows, maybe if, How about this? Jordan, is your hotel a single or a double?
I haven't booked a hotel yet.
Oh, you haven't?
No, sir.
Well, if you book a double, maybe Dan can late enter if Spieth is in the conversation on the weekend. Drive down after work on Friday.
Yeah, that's certainly an idea.
But we're looking too far ahead in the major worlds. Because there's certainly something to be talked about. I mean, we can start with Spieth before we get into Scheffler, but it was ugly. It was ugly. It continued to prove what I've thought the problem was. That is the mental side of the game. And just no way should Thursday have been a 76 in any world. And you could make an argue that Friday could have been a round of the year candidate with the way he was making his way around that golf course. And he shot, 2 under, which is still a good round.
3 under.
But we're 3 under. But like, I'm also not sitting here saying that Spieth is playing horrendous golf. He's not, but he's playing horrendous tournament golf, and he's not getting himself into tournaments. And when he does, he fizzles out early, and that's a little harsh because I'm sure he knows that. I guess the question is, how does that get fixed? You almost have to think that at the start of the year when he was playing well, that the pressure was a little bit off because he thought he was kind of playing with house money just because he thought that he wasn't supposed to be back that early. But I don't know. I really don't know. The swing also isn't great. It's good at times. It's bad at times. It's just too inconsistent when it peaks. So, yeah.
It's hard to disagree with a whole lot you just said there. I think I look back on, I don't tweet after rounds very much anymore. It's funny, I can't believe that I used to go and post his stats after every round. I know Jordan does that on his Instagram, so kudos to you for doing that. But because they started to get kind of ugly in 2020, and it was like, man, do I really keep doing this? But regardless, the 7, I think so. I tweeted on after Thursday, like, it was uninspiring, listless, like deflating. It was probably the least fun Spieth round ever. And that includes, like, I guess maybe rock bottom was Winged Foot day 2, where it was an 81, I believe.
14 over.
Yeah. And like, that felt like there's no hope. Where do you go here? This is probably right above that. Second to worst round I've ever seen. And it's not just because it was bad, because he's definitely had rounds where he's lost more than 3 shots to the field. but there just wasn't anything fun about it. It looked forced. It looked like tired isn't the right word because he definitely wasn't tired, but it just seemed like lackluster in all areas. Um, and sort of lost in a way that I think I had thought we were well past. So Friday was a nice kind of bounce back, and actually one of the more, maybe not one of the more fun Spieth rounds, but kind of a fun, very Spiethy on Friday, right? It was good golf, two pretty horrendous bogeys, um, some cool shots that obviously waking us up with the eagle on 10 was nice. And then a scrap to the finish to make the cut. Well, at the time, what we thought was going to be a made cut. Um, and obviously coming up a little short, but making the big putt on 8 and then making the putt on 9 as well. And honestly playing 9 pretty well just to make a par after, well, hitting an absolute toe ball off the tee. But I think after Friday, you really wanted to see Saturday and Sunday because you thought maybe there's some momentum here. Um, so it was a little disappointing not have two more tee times, but I think it'll in the long run, I think it's a good thing. I think a few days off never hurts, and he can get the rest of his game in gear for Colonial because it's going to be a different test this week. Um, and I'm intrigued to see kind of how it goes.
Good thoughts. Yeah, PGA, we kind of all said it. The preview. Expectations were low. I mean, obviously, would have been nice to have made the cut and kind of, as you said, seen what would have happened over the weekend after a really, really good round on Friday. But not surprising he missed the cut. I think I personally said that was kind of my floor was the missed cut, and then ceiling would have been like a T20 and wider range, but he fell in it with the missed cut. Thursday was just kind of how it's been, specifically Thursday and majors. It's kind of funny. After Thursday, I believe I was in chat or one of our group chats, and I'm like, Spieth hasn't had an under par round in a U.S. Open since Chambers Bay. And I don't think it's been a hell of a lot different at the PGA. I think he was under par first round at Valhalla, but I mean, that was an easy golf course. Like uh,
What about Bethpage?
okay, I'll
Will
give you Bethpage. 6 years
will you
ago.
give me a line on, can I place a bet that will continue at Oakmont?
Yeah, like that's yeah, 100%. He's going to shoot over par Thursday at Oakmont. You can put your life savings on it. Statistics would say it would, but yeah, Thursday was rough. It's just like he played like a so-so front nine on Thursday, and then the wheels fell off, and it's like
He
he's done.
imploded.
He imploded. He's done a better job of not imploding this year. There have been some rounds, uh, players he shot 78 one day. Like he turned and won over. Like you shoot one over, you're probably out of the tournament.
Turned and
Um,
won over with a missed 5-footer on 9. Like he was a 6-footer away
yeah,
from
just
being a very solid 9 holes of golf and being completely in the golf tournament. I mean,
he didn't hang in there on Thursday.
but you just know that missed putt completely affected his shots down the line. It's a chain effect every time
He made what, 3 bogeys in a row?
on like
Yes.
13,
Well,
14, 15 or 12, 13, something like that.
yeah, it
Yeah.
was 11
Yeah.
through
11 through 13.
13. And so it was bogey. It was a 5 on 9. It was a 5 on 10, par 5. 5 on 11, 5 on 12, 4 on 13, which is par 3.
Sweet.
Followed by a much needed did he make birdie on 14?
He
I
made birdie
believe
on
so.
14, parred 15.
Hard 15. Played 15 great, by the way, last week. I mean, my goodness. That was pretty poor. And then 16 bogey. No, 17 made an 8-footer for par after a horrendous iron shot, and then 18 scrapped it up and comfy 5. So
Yeah, what did Spieth play 14 and 15 for the week?
this week,
Even
1 under total.
1 under. So that's 8 shots to Scott right there.
He only had 4 chances.
Yeah, he didn't.
I guess
He
that's
had
chess.
4 less chances, but
I guess that's true.
I mean, and look, comparing anybody to Scott at this point is
Yeah.
asking
He's
quite a bit. But I mean, especially on Friday. I didn't mean to kind of cut you off here, Jordan, but the momentum, like with after the eagle, and then to make the bogey on 12 from 120 in the middle of the fairway with a backstop, and you fly the backstop. Are you serious? And I can't. I'm not sure if that's where he was aiming because it would have trickled down, or I think he just pulled it really badly. Thanks for Siri popping up on my computer. Get out of here, Siri. Um, and then to not make birdie on 14 was a great pitch, but they make a putt there. Not make birdie on 13, and then the a three jack. I think he had three putts on Friday. Um, and to miss the cut by one is kind of a disappointing number. But anyway, got a little sidetracked there thinking about Friday, but just yeah, to your point, Jordan, it's been slow starts at all the majors. So
It's slow starts. I mean, Bob said it earlier. We've been saying like it's just the inconsistency is nuts. I mean, he goes from an unprofessional iron player one day to the best in the world the next. It's like he's a JAG. He's like just a guy, the normal player on tour who can get hot one week and the next week it's just putrid. Like, I mean,
Generous for the week.
he's like four shots
good more
better on
day.
approach Friday than he was Thursday. It's like how? He had a long range session after Thursday's 76 and just ironed the crap out of the golf ball. And like,
And
where was that on Thursday?
I don't even know, like, what is he trying to get better at with the irons? I mean, we watched him all week at the Truist hit only fades on the range
Yeah,
and hit primarily draws on the course.
Yeah.
Like, I don't even know what he's trying.
Yeah, it's the weirdest thing. Like, if anyone like sees him in person this year and like, we were seeing just fades on the range, and then he goes on the course and tries to hit draws.
I'm not
crazy.
Gonna sit here and say I'm not gonna say he's not working hard. He's clearly working hard. I just don't know what he's working on. And maybe he's working really hard on the wrong stuff. But regardless, it's not producing consistency. I'm not saying it's not producing good golf, because it is. It's just producing good golf one every 6 rounds, or 6 out of every 18 holes, or even 12 out of every 18 holes. But it's not complete. And I think that he stands over a golf ball on any given fairway, doesn't know what the ball's going to do, and for stretches it works, and for stretches it does not. And that's kind of where I am right now. And that alone is mental to me. I don't think he knows what he's like working on.
I don't think he knows where the club's going back very frequently.
Yeah. Because the swing technically doesn't look horrible.
I think some days it just gets to a good spot, and some days it doesn't.
Yeah.
I don't think it's because when we're talking about Spieth and his swing and things being off, right there, we now have 10 plus years of a career that's seen both the best swing in the world at the time, right? Or, producing the best results in the world, and also a swing that produces the results of a top 150 guy, right? So this is not close to where it was in 2019 or 2020. I just think there's you
look at you take away the name Jordan Spieth and just put him on paper from 2018 to now, and you could convince me that he's no bogey hoagie. Like, just based on results. Yeah. 2 wins, some great stretches, some horrible stretches. I mean, that's what players like Tom Hoagie do. And that's how they make a good living. But
yeah. No, I mean it's a fair take. Um, and it's hard to juggle it all in terms of the expectations, right? It's even, watching him sometimes, it's kind of a roller coaster. I think the expectations also sometimes feel like a roller coaster. Like I'm not really sure what to expect next week. Um, my heart wants to say it's going to be kind of a fun week, but my head also says he's just not a good course fit for Colonial. But he also has proven over the past few years, I mean, in particular when he's been healthy sort of since post 2020, like he's pretty good after a miscut.
He is.
He's
He's
usually
very
pretty
good.
good at figuring stuff out.
If you
Uh,
take away last year where he legitimately was just injured, he's very good after miscut.
yeah. I mean, you think
He
about the
missed a
Masters
cut in the Masters and then won the next week.
won the next week.
Good at missing the cut.
He
Yeah.
is. He is.
Yes. Well, it's only the second
Well,
one
he's
this
better at
year.
missing the cut than he is winning the next week. I'll tell you that.
Yeah.
Only the
No,
second Dan you were going to say, but how many events has he played in where there is no cut?
I mean, that's fair. But he's also uh yeah, I mean
I'm not trying to put him down, but
he's got the same amount of top fives as he does missed cuts this season.
I know he's got to stop missing cuts though, especially in majors.
Yeah.
I don't disagree. But
How
this one I
many?
think he made the putt and I think he thought he made the cut.
He,
And was
he,
just
he did it with the fist pump, which
just kind of unlucky to not make the cut. The
I
fact that
know.
the PGA Championship played to 1 over par at Quail is a detriment to the PGA. We could talk about the golf course a little bit if we want to, but
He's
Yeah,
missed it.
that was
I'd like to get into that because I'm sure more Spieth will come up as we talk about Colonial as well. But yeah, I thought it was a pretty poor setup this week in all facets. The only good thing about it was that I thought it was an entertaining setup. Like I thought it was fun to watch just because it was stupid. But like the greens were stupid firm. That was the only defense. But then they don't shave any of the banks by the water. Water was barely in play this week besides hole 17. And 18, I guess, the creek. But like I mean, in a way, not sure I was rooting for Scheffler. I think I was rooting for Scheffler or Rahm. And we'll get into Scheffler, but like in a way, it's a good thing Scottie won by the margin he did because this course gets set up like that again, and a very undeserving winner could be crowned. It wasn't a very good test at who was playing the best. A lot of and the names on the leaderboard showed that. Not that they played bad. I'm just saying like the first two rounds specifically was the worst I've ever seen a course at rewarding good shots and penalizing bad shots. I mean, there was so much meshing of the two. You'd see a good shot that would end up in a worse place than a bad shot, and a bad shot end up in a better spot than a good shot. And it was just like, what are we doing? And that was my takeaway from the course. 16, 17, 18 are awesome golf holes. Like I really enjoy them. But then to me it's just another sawgrass. So I'm not a fan of the course, but some people are. Some people are a fan of the course, but not that it's a major course. When it's a tour course, I get that argument too. For me, I just don't like the course, and I hated the setup. I hated the setup. So yeah.
Good takes. Yeah,
well,
I hate to get nerdy. I think they overseeded it, which I don't have like
It's possible that's the
yeah, like that's just pathetic. I mean, they didn't overseed Colonial this week, and it's 90 degrees down there, and they're not going to overseed it. I think overseeding it makes it play more Fugazi. I mean, I don't know 100% what it does, but I mean I think it impacts the quality of golf that is needed. I think it's harder when it's not overseeded. Um, I think the ball sticks a little bit more, and it was soft. When you overseed it, it was just sticking, and we saw the mud balls and all that. I think that's part of the overseed. I mean, I'm not a grass expert, but I know a lot of people on Twitter were complaining about that have more knowledge than I do, but it seems like they're putting a band-aid or they're doing something to a major championship to make it easier, which isn't cool. Yeah, I like to hear your thoughts, Dan. I kind of Quail to me is like a mid-tier P. Like I think it wasn't awful, especially when Spieth didn't miss the when he missed the cut. I didn't watch as much over the weekend, but yeah, the grass being high in certain areas to avoid the ball going into the water. I mean, that's never fun. So
No, it's stupid because then you can hit like the whole thing about 14 that makes it such a good drivable par four when set up correctly is that if you go for the green, if you bail outright, you're screwed because you're on that hill down a lie. And if you miss left, you're in the water. Well, now, if you hit a shot right, you could be in a much worse position than if you miss left. Because if you miss left to a front right pin where Matt Fitz was, it's a simple uphill lie pitch from 35 feet. And it's just like the whole thing there is that you're trying to reward players who don't bail out right and hit very good golf shots. And if they had a bad golf shot left, they should have bailed out right or laid up. Like that's the whole point of the hole. And it completely took it away.
Yeah. I mean, the setup on 14 is, I think, kind of just one example of it. I know on
Yeah, there are others.
the left side of 15 with the water there were a couple tee balls that were headed to the drink and stayed up because the rough caught them. I think in general, I mean, we got the players told us early in the week. It's basically the Wells Fargo all over again, just overseeded and a little bit tougher. The weekend played reasonably tough because the wind started blowing. But I think what's interesting about it to me is like, I guess you got a little bit of separation. Obviously, Scottie separated himself, which I think to Bob's point is a good thing for this tournament because like Scheffler was the best player again this week, and he deserved to win the tournament. I think you got Rahm a little bit there in the mix, but if you look at the rest of the leaderboard after Scheffler, there's no separation. There's a few dudes at 6, a few dudes at 5, and it's kind of like, well, obviously you can't just remove Scheffler from the pack, but that's kind of like a Tory thing where everybody's all
Yeah.
bunched together
Yeah.
and you don't actually get any great separation on the board. Um, and maybe that's not fair because there were some times where like Fitzpatrick was a few back and Rahm was there and DeChambeau had the lead for a little bit. Um, it just, yeah, I don't know. It didn't really, it wasn't very inspiring. I think Scheffler winning is cool. Um, and it's fitting that he did it at a sort of slightly harder than normal what it would normally play PGA Tour course, just because it's a major. Um, but it's certainly, I think, I wish to Jordan's point, like with the overseeding and stuff, maybe there's like a way that it protects the course better in terms of its growth and other things. But I wish they did a better job of taking what the weather gave them and then building the course around that and making it as hard as they could with that. I thought the greens being firm is cool, but I don't think many people have an issue with the golf course being slightly browned out in areas. I think that's sick. I think Colonial's going to be browned out by the end of the week, and I'm excited for that. Um, and again, part of it's just weather. They got a lot of rain, but there's nothing wrong with patches playing firmer, kind of some inconsistent rough. It's just very predictable. Um, and I think part of that's just what Quail Hollow is. But doesn't mean I have to be excited about it when it happens, right? So, um, they're not going back there for a little bit, correct? They don't have another scheduled event at Quail in a major championship form. Is that true?
I'm not sure there will be.
Okay. My guess is there's going to be another one there, but
My only,
um,
I
not
think
for a
we'll
little
see
while.
another team event there.
Yeah,
I
I,
think that
it's worthy of
the
hosting
player,
stuff,
the
but not. It just wasn't. I
I
wasn't a
think
fan
the
of it
way
this
the
week.
players spoke about the course almost embarrassed the PGA in a way,
Yeah,
to the point where I don't know if they want to go back there anytime soon at the very least. So that's my guess. Maybe we'll see in 25 years, but I don't think we'll see it anytime soon.
yeah. It's kind of back to back tough PGAs for the PGA. I think Valhalla
And
was not a good
don't have
experience.
many high hopes about next year either.
Aronimink, yeah. I think I'm not sure how they need to do it, but like the US Open to me feels like it kind of fits Northeastern golf, right? And maybe
Yeah,
I feel like the PGA maybe needs, I know that they want to try and play a whole bunch of different spots, but I feel like
yeah.
they might be better suited kind of finding unique style golf courses. I know Southern Hills wasn't everybody's favorite, but
Like
it's a
Frisco,
different look. Frisco, um,
maybe Chambers Bay, a little easier.
Chambers,
I wouldn't. I don't
Whistling
know if I'd like to see.
Straits, like
I don't know if I'd like to see Chambers Bay at a PGA play like it did at the U.S. Open, but that could
yeah.
work.
Whistling Straits in May would be sick now that I'm thinking
Whistling
about it.
Straits. I mean, we just had that event 2 weeks ago, the college event. That course looked like
Yeah.
sick.
Well, and the weather would make it interesting. You could get some days, I mean, it could be 55 and raining on Thursday and then be 75 and blustery on Sunday. And that's, of, you know, give tournament watchers every kind of shot imaginable for the week. Um, but yeah, just, I don't know. Quail, it was just kind of mid across the board. And that was a little disappointing.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, yeah, I am. It just felt like they played that tournament 10 times and, a Vegas wins here, a Siwoo Kim wins there. And it just is like, what are we doing here? Like, usually, like, you want to see it take generational performances, like Wai Yang, for example, to win a championship like that as the caliber player they are. Um, so, like, I mean, if Siwoo Kim had shot 13 under and beat Scheffler by 1 or 2, while the rest of the field 6 shots back, then it's like whatever. Like then it's like okay, but it just felt like if Scheffler didn't have that week this week, we could have seen that 4-man playoff and Davis Riley lifting the trophy in the playoff. You know what I mean? So like it's just, and that just wouldn't have been very good because a 6 under playoff Davis Riley winner at that course would be just, wouldn't seem deserving.
Yeah. So it's
So,
a valid
but
thought.
I did want to speak to Scheffler for a sec. I think it's interesting because I said literally before the on the preview pod that I don't think it's crazy to say that Scheffler deservedly should be the third on the odds board given his recent history in majors and how much he's underperformed. Well, now we're in a very interesting situation because now it's a generational 2 or 3 year stretch where 2 seemed like too little majors, but now 3 seems like probably where it should be. And it also seems very easy to see Scheffler winning another 3 majors in the next 4 or 5 years. So, not saying it's going to happen, but I'm certainly saying that there's Scheffler doesn't have the Spieth Rory floor where they can kind of just die out in majors for 7, 8 years after having incredible runs because he's got more top 20s than Tiger to this point in his career. I mean, he's always there. He's always there. even when he's not playing his best golf, he's T18, T12 at majors. So I don't know. I personally would love to see him finish better than Rory. I know Jordan said that he'd love to see him blow all of Rory's records off the planet, but I think it's possible. I think that before this week, I did sort of think that Scheffler was going to forever be not a major loser, but be someone who kind of won 4 majors that should have won 6 or 7. That's what I kind of thought. And now my mind shifted a bit. I've kind of gone from I thought Bryson was going to finish the most of this generation. He was just going to win a bunch of U.S. Opens. And to be fair, Bryson absolutely still could. I mean, if Bryson wins Oakmont this year, which I think he's the clear favorite to do so with Scheffler, I think he's going to win a Masters. So that right there is, I mean, Bryson could still finish with the most, but I think I've sort of changed my opinion to I could see Scottie finishing his career in the 8 range. I didn't really see that number 8 before this week.
I did.
You did?
Not the he's the best player since Tiger. He's better than Rory.
Yeah.
He doesn't have the stats yet, but he also hasn't been around for as long. Kyle Porter put out a tweet asking how many he gets to. I think he gets to at least 5. I'm just saying that because he's the best player since Tiger, and he's better than Rory. Rory's got 5. He's better than Brooks. He's not played that many majors yet. And yeah, you kind of said it, Bob. He's always there. If you throw out Pinehurst last year, where he just putted terribly that week, not an excuse. He has 11 straight green boxes at majors. Like he's always there, and he can play at every one. I mean, I think it's inevitable he gets a U.S. Open, and you kind of said in our group chat, Bob, you think it's inevitable he gets an Open just because he can flight shots. I mean,
he can flight shots, and he can craft up. It's very lethal.
Yeah.
You say this all the time when someone who hits the ball as generationally as he does to be the number 1 player in the world in scrambling.
It's absurd, and I think
it's absurd.
He's top 10 in putting this year, I think. It's like,
I mean, he's a great mid-range putter. I think the 5-footers will always kind of be something that is his Achilles heel his entire career. But his Achilles heel can be pretty good with how good everything else is.
Helps when the 5-footers are for birdie too.
Yeah, exactly.
Every iron shot's like 5 feet.
I mean, the thing that I think about a lot in comparing Scheffler to Rory, because I think that's where we are now.
Yeah.
I think right now, the way I look at this generation post Tiger and Phil is I'm comparing him to Rory in terms of talent. I think Koepka might be the best winner I've ever seen in my life. But on pure talent, and I guess the ranking of champion kind of mixes the two, but on talent, Scott doesn't have that wedge shot into 13 that Rory hit at the Masters in his bag, so he's never going to lose in that fashion. He never hits it. His dispersion is ridiculous.
Every major win he's had has been in kind of dominating fashion too.
If he's leading on Sunday, he's not going to blow it, because he's always going to be able to just hit the center of the green on repeat without much trouble.
He's 8 for 8 in converting his last 8 54-hole leads, I think.
Yeah. And I don't think we give his mental game enough credit, because
Ted Scott.
We're not going to go there. But I think that I think that the most underrated part of his game, and it's crazy because I'm going to say he's the best of the world at this, but he's kind of the best of the world at everything, is no one is better at knowing the correct time to put the ball to 30 feet and being able to execute that perfectly. He's the walking definition of conservative target, precise, or aggressive to that target. And I mean, just like you look at the final 3 holes, right? Like, let's say Rahm finishes 9. Okay. And we can talk about Rahm for a sec after, which I kind of like too, because I feel like he's getting a lot of hate, or he's getting called a choker. I'd like to address that too. But like on 16, 17, 18, Scottie Scheffler is up 3 with 3 to go, where many people have played those 3 holes and 3 over par. There was never a chance he was ever going to double bogey any of those holes. He was going to take double bogey out of play before he even teed off. And he doesn't have a swing in the bag bad enough to bring double bogey into play if he makes the right decision, if that makes sense. And that's what I just think is so unbeatable about him. Because if he steps on 16T with even a 1-shot lead, he's going to force you to play that 3 holes even if he plays it the worst case, knowing that he has a lead. It's tough to do that when at like the front 9, people are like, oh, he shot 2 over. Well, yeah, his swing wasn't great, but you also can't play like that when it's the front 9 of a major, because someone can make birdies. Like, you can't play conservatively on the front 9 on Sunday. Like, you still have to play your regular game. But as it gets closer to the finishing stretch, it just gets harder to beat him, because he's just so good at hitting the right shot and hitting it well. And I was just it was very scary to see the way that he won, in terms of the future, for golf, because I think he was so far and away the best. I don't think anyone really played well this week besides him. He was so far and away the best player this week. It was not close. Bryson did not play well and he finished second. And that's talent too. Like, he's just really damn good and you can do that. But like, no one played well and the score reflected it. No one played close to Scottie this week.
Numbers would agree with you.
Yeah.
It is.
It's actually just I had one more point then. I was actually looking at it. Like, it's always, you kind of say like no one played well. Scottie was the only player that gained over 3 strokes per round this week. That like never happens at majors. Last year, 5 guys were over 3 shots a round. Oak Hill, 6 guys. Scottie was the only guy this week. So to your point,
and
really,
he was
no
over 4 as well, right?
He was over 4. Yeah, I mean, it was just a blowout. But yeah, the lack of nobody played well this week, really. And you have one guy that does, and he wins by 5.
Yeah. I think real quick on his major count. Obviously, this was being done with Rory and Spieth in kind of the same sense, at least for a little bit. And Scheffler does seem like more of a robot, but this is also like he's also won, and I hope it doesn't happen. So I'm gonna knock on some wood. But one back twinge, one slight wrist issue. Like
Yeah.
he had a cut in his hand, and he wasn't obviously he was still very good, but it took him 4 months to find the elite form that he's found again. Golf is a game that you can lose it and tumble down the mountain pretty quickly. I'm not saying that Scheffler's going to do that, and I don't want him to do that.
You
'Cause I
don't?
think no, because I kind of like the dominance. Um,
Someone's got to catch Rory.
yeah, no, and I also think that there's a I'd rather see him. I'd rather see him get to. Well, I was gonna say if he's gonna keep being dominant, I'd rather see him get to 10, 12. Like, why not? That'd be sick to live through that, and kind of be witness to that. Because the main point that I wanted to make about it was he's a 2-time Masters champion. Like, he could pick off that tournament any given year. I mean that there's like a very, legit shot he ends his careers with 4 jackets, right? Like, that doesn't seem That seems reasonable. I thought the Open is interesting because I think that might be I'm talking the across the pond Open. He'll get a US Open at some point. I know he plays flighted shots or whatever, but I I would bet that's the one he's got to get for the Slam if we come
Agreed.
to that. I like
Well, my bet was on the PGA, so I thought this was going to be the hardest one for him to win.
really.
So now
I
that
the
he's got it,
yeah.
I don't disagree. I At this point, I just think he's gonna get it. So whichever one comes first comes first. Whichever one comes next comes next. I just think it's gonna happen. And so
The
I
Open's
think
just a random one. That's
and so I
it's
think
random. I mean, the thing about the Open that I like, and the reason why I hate no names in the other three majors is because I kind of don't like. It can be telling from the golf course, but I also just I don't mind no name winners, but like I don't love it. I don't love no names in contention. You know what I mean? Because it's just like there's no storylines. Um, and I guess that's poorly said. Like there can be. I don't know. For some reason, I usually don't like. I usually think that having a bunch of no names is an indictment on the tournament, but the Open isn't a test to see who hits the golf ball the best over 4 days, like the other three majors are. It never has been. It never will be. It's who handles whatever those 4 rounds of golf ask of you the best. That's what the Open is. It's not who hits the best golf shots all week. So I don't really mind the Tristan Lawrence in the conversation on Sunday like he was last year at the Open. So I guess in that way it is kind of random because like Scottie Scheffler is the best striker of the golf ball in the world. And so you're taking that advantage away from him more at the Open than you are the other majors. Um, so I can see your point why you think that's the one he's got to get. I just think you give him a course like you give him a bad Open course where it's not windy.
well to that point, and this is kind of just my whole thought about this is piggybacking off
Not
of
even if it's not windy. I'm just saying you give him a bad Open course. Like you
yeah.
could see him.
Well, and I think this was a bad PGA course. It's a PGA Tour course, and Scheffler dominated. I think like Andy Lack made this point, and I'm just taking it to the Open. He said it's the most Quail was predictable. And who's the best at being at dominating predictability is Scheffler because he's a freaking robot. You know what's going to happen with Scheffler. When Scheffler knows, Scheffler does and does it really, 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 really well. The Open is the least predictable to kind of what you just said earlier.
Yeah, no, I
Like,
think that's
you can
fair.
hit a perfect tee shot and you can be on a kind of pseudo downslope ball above your feet in a half divot from a
that won't
member
affect
Finette.
Scheffler.
2 weeks ago. Well, right. Well, then Scheffler goes full Saracen and it's a clean lie. But the point is like
I mean,
the
you can hit
the
a fairway down the
variability
middle.
variability in the Open
You can hit a
creates
fairway down the middle, get a bad kick off a mound, and end up in fescue. At the
That won't
Open.
happen.
Yeah.
No, it won't. But you know what I mean, and that's Dan's point, and I think that that's like, and I think that that's a very fair take. But I think that the way someone responds to that bad break is part of the test of the Open, and I think Scheffler does that well.
yeah, but I don't think it's as well as it appears sometimes. Scheffler gets pissed off sometimes at some bad breaks. When things aren't 100%, yeah, that's not, I'm not trying to make it seem like he's not
That is true.
like
When
a
things are completely
cool-headed because
predictable,
yeah.
when things are completely predictable and it doesn't go the way he thought, he gets upset.
Yeah. Like we've
The thing
seen
that
a
comes to
few
mind is that
Scheffler-
time when he yelled at the wedge from the drop zone when it didn't come off.
Well,
the
I just saw that
backside.
clip
Yeah.
earlier today. And look, that happens rarely, and I'm not saying Scheffler is close to a hothead, and he does a really good job overall at managing those things, but I don't think that's like out of all of the things he does really, really, really well, I think that's maybe one that he's not like the best in the world at. And that's fine. Like that's just being a human being. Because that stuff is hard.
I think that's
Right.
fair. That's a good take. I thought he responded to adversity. And not this is not the same thing that we were talking about. This is kind of just a pivot point. I thought he handled the adversity this week really well. I mean, he could
Yeah.
have
No,
you know,
he does a great job of it in general. I'm
I
just
mean, he
saying
could
it's
have. I
go ahead.
mean, he had to be feeling something on that 10th tee.
Oh yeah.
I mean, no one thought he had a chance in any hell for where that he was going to lose that tournament, and all of a sudden, it's an absolute back
Right.
nine.
It's a tie ball game.
It's
And
a tie ball game,
it's a tie ball game with another two-time major champion.
and he drains that putt on
Right.
10.
It's not a tie ball
And
game with Matt.
yeah, it's not like Davis Riley's 6 under through 7, and
Right.
that's not what it was. No, you're completely right.
It's John
And
freaking Rahm.
and John Rahm, I mean, people are giving him a lot of crap for how he finished, but I mean, what was he going to do on 17? Play for the middle of the green? Like he had to make birdie, and he probably missed by a yard, and it went in the water. And he made double. Like I don't think he was playing for the center of the green and hooked it left. I just think that's a pin that you have to get really risky with, and he got risky and it didn't work, and it cost him 2 shots, and then 18 it was
Like
already
16
over.
at CPC Boston.
Yeah, it's not a horrible comparison.
Yeah, he probably hit it well too and just got a bad gust.
Yeah, no, I completely agree.
Yeah, I had
Rahm
to make
did
a
4
5,
putt.
right?
Rahm did
Yeah.
4 putt that day, but maybe in another world. But I guess we should get to Colonial. But those are my PGA thoughts. If you guys haven't already, if you guys are done with that, I mean, I think that
I had one more on Scheffler.
yeah,
I agree with both of you. I think the Open will be the hardest one for him to get, but he's going to get it, and he's going to win the Slam because he's the best player since Tiger, and he's better than Rory, and Rory got it. I'm statistically saying he's better than Rory.
Yeah, no,
The
I
only
agree.
way I don't think he matches him is if he gets hurt, like you mentioned, or for some God who knows what reason Randy Smith tells him to change his swing. Like, barring an
Yeah.
injury, I don't see.
He keeps things a little simpler than Spieth. And I know we know Spieth has been kind of banged up over the
and he
past
doesn't even
7
have
years.
the Tiger injury risk with his swing. I mean, when Tiger chose to be Tiger, there was some medical doctor who told him at 25, your back will be shot by age 40 with this swing. And Tiger probably said, okay, I'm going to dominate golf until I'm 40 and live with the consequences. And he did, and he did it well. But Scheffler does, and Scheffler's not Tiger, but he doesn't have that risk either. So we'll probably get to play more tournaments healthy than Tiger.
Yeah. Well, it's also, I mean, he's not going to catch Tiger, I don't think. But
That's a tough
No.
ask.
he could pass Rory
There's-
in 2 years.
It's
You know?
so golf's too deep from the past Tiger, I think. And I also just don't think he's as good a golfer as Tiger.
Yeah. It's
mean,
a lot.
Tiger's like a sacred name to speak about. Like, there's a next Tiger anytime someone like Scheffler comes up.
Yeah.
What I'm
Well-
saying is Scheffler is the king of the next Tigers, I think.
Yeah.
Better than Spieth. He's better than Rory. Who else has been called the I don't think Koepka was ever really called the next Tiger, but maybe.
Scottie wins majors by 5. Tiger won them by 15.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
It's so early. But it I think there's more of a ring to it of like I mean, we'll see. I'm getting way ahead of myself here, but like Jack, Tiger, Scotty is like we're on that trajectory,
You
right?
think that's what this PGA has given you? That's really interesting. It's
That
bold.
I don't think that's what the PGA. I mean, it certainly helps.
Who do you think's
I'm
the
not
third
even
best
sure if
golfer of
that's.
all time? Who do you
I'm
think's
not
the
even.
third best golfer of all time? It's not Sham Sarazen.
Yeah. Well, I was gonna make a joke earlier that if Sarazen was in Spieth's position on 9, he would have found a way to make the cut. Um, he would have known it was going to one over, promptly somehow hit his tee ball to where Spieth chipped from, and we go from there. Uh,
Well, I don't even want to get into the fact that
I don't know who the third best golfer is on of all time.
recent findings, there's some shamming to be looking into with Rory's slam as well.
No, yes, with
Due
the
to the
driver.
driver.
Good point.
Yeah, that's a good
It
point.
must be talked
Um,
about at some point. Not this
which
episode,
yeah,
but
which by the way is ridiculous that they don't test everybody
yes.
at the same
It
time.
is a fact that Rory McIlroy won the Grand Slam with an
With
illegal driver.
yes,
It's a
yeah,
fact.
yep.
And that
Uh,
will have to be talked about at some point. It won't be today, but it will. Just putting it out there. It's a
yeah,
prelude.
which is crazy. Um, what was I saying? Oh, I don't actually think like I'm not really sure what I think about where Scotty ends up all time. I think I just kind of want to see Jack, Tiger, Scotty. Like I wanna live that. I mean, ideally it's Jack, Tiger, Spieth, but I think we can get rid of that. And
Yeah, what's in that coffin?
Rory could maybe get there, but I think there's something about Scheffler that is more all-time great than Rory, like in there. Because I think Rory's too human.
Rory's way too human.
Scheffler's like
He's not.
weirdly not human. Because a lot of the guys that aren't human are like obviously crazy. They're obviously psycho. I think Scheffler's like almost so human that he's robotic. I'm not even sure if that even makes sense. It just seems everything's so simple. And obviously this could change. Like we could in 3 months we could be talking like, oh my God, Scheffler. But I don't know. I just want to be I would
Scheffler's
love
on
to
pace to
see
have 2 seasons that are better than anything Rory's ever had.
chills.
I know Rory had the 2 major year, but just like the consistent
Dude,
level of golf that
he
Scotty
won 8
plays.
times last year.
Yeah. And he only has 2 this year. He could easily get to 6.
Well, he's probably gonna win this week, Colonial, if he didn't drink too much this past week. Like,
Do you know what
There's
Scotty
really
is?
no way he
Do you know what
like
he's thinking right now? If he's looking at the odds board and Spieth is like second and he's beaten Spieth by like 10 shots at home on a consistent basis.
is how many shots is he giving Speed? 10?
I mean,
I'm sure they're
Scheffler's playing to a +7. Speed's probably playing around to a 3.
It
I
is
mean,
crazy. This we could get into Colonial now too, but
I put it in chat. I mean, head to head in the tournaments they've played of the last 25, Spieth is 222-1 versus Scheffler.
nice.
He beat him
That's
in Phoenix and he beat him at the Century last year.
okay.
And he
That's
lost
impressive.
22.
Yeah.
They tied at Pinehurst last year, so
That is chilling. And they probably had actually similar statistical profiles that week,
yes. Kudos to
which
Spieth.
is yes, congrats to Spieth on that. Um, what
220.
was I gonna say? Oh, Scheffler's last 3 starts here at Colonial, two T, I think it's two T3 two, or two T3 T2, or something ridiculous like that. He's been
Nice.
beaten by a total of 4 guys over the past 3 years. Like, come on, and one of them was Davis Riley. Like, he's not. I don't know. I mean, there's a world in which he doesn't win this week because he was celebrating last week, but it kind of just feels like he's
It it's
got some winning to make up for, right? He didn't win enough this season, and now it's time to get it in gear. He could win. I mean, then he goes to Memorial next week.
Yeah.
Like, what if we're watching a four straight heater right here? I think that
I
might be
mean,
rooting for that.
I don't see a world in which Scotty's finish isn't top 8 this week.
What are his odds
Yeah,
to top 10 right
because
now?
even if it's a slow Thursday, Friday, you still know he's like T26 at worst going into the
Yeah.
weekend. And
Must
then
get
it'll,
boring for Scheffler fans because they never knew anything else. Like it was boring for me when Spieth was young because we never thought that we were gonna get not boring, but like the wins didn't affect you as much because you
yeah.
didn't go through any adversity, right? It must just get repetitive.
Since
Yeah.
API, he's had one below average round.
Oh my goodness. How many rounds is that? Like
4,
20?
8, 12, 16, 20, 28. So 27 to 28 have been above average.
Sheesh.
And that's just above average. There's been
How many
plenty
have been below
great
average for Spieth?
since API. Well, he wasn't in it.
Actually,
So.
actually for Spieth, he's probably played what, 36, 32 since
Probably
API.
similar to Scheffler. Didn't play API, but played Truist.
Well, there was definitely below average ones there.
Yeah, but it's probably not as many as you might think.
It's actually not.
Well, Spieth does like to hang around average a lot.
Yeah, since the
Yeah.
Masters, Spieth has only been below average 3 times. No, four. Four.
And see that I think that's one final PGA thought was like that's what made Thursday tough is he's actually his bad days haven't been like bottom of the barrel bad, and that was a kind of bottom of the barrel bad. You know,
Yeah, I
if he just
randomized 10
scraps a
golfers on
73 there, 74, and it's like
I
it's
randomized
bad.
10 golfers on ChatGPT. Sorry to interrupt you. You lagged
No,
out,
no,
so I thought you were talking, but
no, you're good.
in the top 100 and 9 of them were more recent winners than Spieth. Max Greiserman was the only not one.
Well, Greiserman's gonna win this week. You might as well mark it down.
That's how this podcast
Yeah.
works. Yeah.
Yeah. But continue
But
your thoughts. Sorry, I was lagging.
no, no, it's okay. I think just having the floor kind of bottom out on Thursday at a major like that is tough because he had grinded out decent scores previously. Um, but on a Colonial, obviously a good track, good history for the Spieth camp. Not recently though. I think the bomb and gouge version of Spieth is not well suited for here. Um, so we'll see. I think there is a formula to a good week. But the iron play specifically inside of 150 is going to have to do a pretty big 180 uh, to really, you know, get amongst the leaders in this golf tournament. I texted Jordan earlier too because I'm excited about this kind of stuff. It's going to be hot. Sun's going to be out. Wind's going to be 10 to 20 every day. I think Colonial could play to an 8 under winner, which is sick.
Yeah, I could see that.
And I think that kind of creates a path. If Mr. Spieth has a, elite week off the tee, just rips driver everywhere, and then Mr. Mills has a nice connection with the bent grass here at Colonial.
Not
This
overseeded
case
bent
for
grass.
Spieth is a nice wave advantage.
Is it
That
shaping out to be that way?
Oh, I have no clue.
Oh.
I'm just saying that's the only way it shapes up nicely for Mr. Spieth.
Yeah. Well, Scheffler's in the afternoon and Spieth's in the morning, so there's a good chance it will not be a good wave advantage.
Yeah,
He actually, I think he got boned on the wave at the PGA too.
I think late
Yeah.
early was preferable this week, but not by a ton.
Yeah, I don't think it's gonna matter that much.
I don't. No, I don't. I don't see him contending in that. I just
No.
you have
Th-
to you have to hit a lot of good golf.
Yeah. I think the short game has shown signs of life. I'd expect a better week from Mills. Um, and I think he'll continue to drive it pretty well, but the iron play is just not this is not a long iron golf course. This is a whole bunch of 7 and below, and that has not been a strong suit. Um,
No, it is not.
and if the wind's going to be blowing, it's going to be up. Obviously playing a lot of rounds here helps, but he hasn't played well here the past few years, so I guess the past two years really. So we'll see. Maybe just makes a lot of putts and gets himself in a good spot off the tee. But I can't wait for that Thursday morning. The par on one that's just inevitable every year is gonna hit uh different. There's nothing like making a five on that hole
Good
when
news,
it's
Dan. I think he's starting on the back nine Thursday.
okay. Well, yeah. So even worse, he'll be warmed up and still make a par on the first. Which
Yeah.
it,
No, I second your thoughts. The course fit right now sucks. He could miss the cut again. I think the ceiling's a little bit higher than it was last week, even with the crappier course fit, in my personal opinion. Just because he's got good vibes around here, the strokes gain vibes he's high in,
yeah.
and to him that means something, even though if the last couple of years haven't been good. He feels good around this place. There's kind of no denying that. Um, and like we kind of said earlier in the podcast, he's good off a miscut typically.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, so it's just consistency at some point would be, we're in the end of May now. I mean, it was normal not to expect it coming off of surgery back when we were in California, but still have two majors ahead. It'd be nice if we can show some signs of consistency. But yeah, he could miss the cut again this week. I very, very, very much think that's a possibility. Not that it's likely, but it's certainly possible.
Yeah. I was looking at triple double, and it's a good segue anyways because like I realized I actually have used Spieth twice already this year. Not that I was going to use him, but it's sad because like this used to be a course you would use him at. I mean, it used to be a course that when he was in his depths,
Yeah.
you could find it. I mean, but his game's changed. It used to be, and I don't know why, but it used to kind of be Pebble and Colonial. Now it's kind of Phoenix and Heritage. It's kind of seems how it's transitioned a bit. Um, which I don't know if that's good or bad. But funny how both of them are weeks after majors. Colonial and RBC. Nice to know we're peaking at the right time. But yeah, I got lucky last week with a 000 from Daniel.
Thank you,
Yeah,
Dan.
Because I did not have a good week last week. So Jordan got a lot closer.
yeah, we've got a ball game, folks.
We have a ball game. I was shocked with Justin Thomas's week a lot, to be honest. I was shocked with Rory's week.
Yeah, I
Shocked
remember
Rory.
talking to
Rory
Spieth today.
clearly saw all of the PGA America signs instead of the Quail Hollow Wells Fargo Championship signs. So,
Yeah. Well, Andy,
congrats to Rory.
he doesn't have his cheating driver anymore.
Correct.
Yeah, I mean it's a point that has to be made. I mean, it's crazy because in just a few months there are two sham accusations, but that's what we're here for. We're here to be tough. We're here to be fair. We're here to report the facts. But Yeah, it would be funny if Rory fell off the face of the planet for the rest of the year. It would be chills. Oh, I could push that agenda so hard.
Shouldn't even
But
be an agenda. It should be a rescinding
it
of
would should be a rescinding of
The
the jacket.
jacket.
The jacket should go straight onto Mr. Rose's shoulders.
correct.
We know Justin Rose wasn't using a cheating driver. He'd never
No,
do that.
no.
A man of class and a man of honor. Um, I have my picks. If you want me to start?
Yeah, go ahead.
Let me just make sure I haven't used these guys
It's
twice. All right, so I'm
hilarious.
starting with Mr. Two Gloves.
Oh man.
Love it.
I really like his mid iron play, and I think that Jordan's model really likes him as well. So
He's second
yes, I will be, and I
behind guess
think
who?
he's sort of who, Chef?
Scott.
Just by a little
Yeah.
bit. Just
Yeah. So I'm gonna go with him. Um, I also think his season's kind of like been leading up to something, and it hasn't yet. So, uh, we're gonna go with that. Then I'm gonna go with Harris English. Harris English on the card this week. Finished nicely towards the end of the round, or towards the end of the PGA. He would have been in that playoff if Scheffler didn't exist. Just would have had a playoff with someone who'd finished like before noon.
Yeah.
Just thanks for that, Professional
quick
Golf Association of America.
quick thought on Harry English. Win at Torrey, T12 at the Masters, T2 at the PGA. There's a very, very live chance he's in New York come late September wearing the red, white, and blue. And
I'm here for it.
have a bad feeling about that, but
No. There
I
are
think
so
that
many
might be
people I'd want on the team less than him.
yeah, I think that's fair. And if he continues to play well, then by all means, I think it's cool that he's popping up in a Ryder Cup year. Like if he was a European dude, it would be like, oh yeah, that's just what they do. You know, those guys always play well on Ryder Cup years, and it's cool that an American is showing a little spirit.
I'm completely with you there. I like that. I like it a lot. And he plays Northeast golf well. He plays that Northeast style golf because like it's different grass, but like Torrey's Northeast style golf. It's open course, trees, rough, like the false fronts. Like it's very similar to Northeast golf. Like you take away the ocean, stick it in the middle of upstate New York, and you could see that. So, yeah, I mean, I like that a lot. Anywho, uh, small. Torbjornsen this week. I think he's peaking for the season. I think he's gonna have a few more good weeks, funnel out. So, those are my three.
Yeah. It's a good three. I texted Jordan earlier. I was like, man, I need to get back in the lab a little bit. 3 zeros at the PGA is unacceptable.
I didn't realize
for
Bob used Thor Bjornsson earlier this year.
a player of my no more Thor Bjornsson used.
No, he had one more. I'm saying he used him once prior.
I don't remember using him either.
Used him in Mexico. It was a
Oh.
goose egg.
I that was not on my bingo card, but I am rocking with Bezadenhout. He was kind of relevant at the PGA. The iron play has gotten better the last 2 weeks. Great course fit here at Colonial. It's all about accuracy around the greens. Are kind of the two that actually really stand out here. So going him, and then of course the Bulldog, Brian Harmon, won at Valero, T3 at Hilton Head, I believe, which is another course fit for Colonial. So just feels like Brian Harmon could be starting to kick into gear with the Ryder Cup around the corner. And then we're rolling with Davis Riley, obviously winner here last year, finished well at the PGA, has not had a good season. But I think and so I think a lot of people are going to be on him, but to me, I think it's less about his overall shape of his game. But I think he was making some comments about how he was trying to like neutralize his swing for a long time and then just has gotten back to just swinging his stuff and playing his draw and playing golf. And so I don't think he's going to win this week, but I just need some cash. And I think as someone, I'd like to play golf. And whenever you kind of find something again that makes you play better, you want to get out and keep playing because it's fun. And so I think that's where I'm going to guess his mindset is. And good course fit. Um, why not see if he has a good week?
Yeah.
Well said. I really like one pick each from you guys. Um, I love the Rye pick. Rye's probably my pick to win this week, outside of Scheffler.
Have you used him twice?
I have used him twice. Of course I have. So
Your model loves Rye, man.
he will not be used by me. Um, I like the Harmon pick a lot too, but I think I'm gonna A, pass him because you're using him, and B, just I don't know. I like Harmon this week. Harmon and Rye I could see up there. I will just follow the model and I'll go three guys I've already used once, I believe. Just make sure that. Where is he? I haven't used him twice, have I? No, I haven't. All right, so I'll go Daniel Berger.
Ooh.
Uh,
I would have used him if I hadn't already
yeah,
used
the
him
thing I don't
twice.
love about my picks are these are guys I could see myself using at bigger events, but alas, we'll use them this week and try and. I am only like 300K behind you, Dan. Bob still got a
Yes.
nice 700K cushion over you, Dan. But I mean, we're all in striking distance, so maybe I'll get a winner this week. So I'm gonna go Berger. I am going to go Fleetwood. I'll skip over him. He's a loser. We'll go Poston, and we will go Siwoo. Uh, no justification for any of them, although Siwoo was obviously in the mix last week. Um, he's been playing good golf, relatively speaking. Four green boxes out of his last five. Although seeing Siwoo's played Colonial 9 times and has been utterly horrific here, I don't love it. But um, we'll
Yeah.
roll with these three. I really like Ryan Harmon. I must say that. I'll be pissed if Harmon has a good week because I could have used him. I can't use Rye, but the Rye pick's phenomenal, Bob. He is a winner. He will be a winner this week.
You love him.
He's just good. I like his game.
Like, is it crazy to say he's your second favorite golfer? Because you don't have like second favorite golfers, really.
He's a model popper, man. I think his game plays well.
Is there someone on tour besides Spieth that you're rooting against, like over him down the stretch on Sunday?
I mean, Ryan in our chat likes to hate on him. He should be a shoo-in for the Ryder Cup team.
Rye?
Yeah.
Oh, Rye. And Rye would love to see Spieth on the other side on Sunday.
Yes. Agreed.
A Rye Rom would go nuclear around Bethpage.
Reminder,
Yeah,
I used
it
Rye
really
at the
would.
Players. I used Rye at the Players. And it was a solid T14.
He's a cash cow, man. He's
He,
like, what's funny is you skipped over Fleetwood. I was
he's a, I
kind of thinking about playing Tommy this week.
think I've
Because
used Tommy twice.
it would be kind of a fitting like Fleetwood win.
Yeah, I skipped over him, but I already used him twice. He made me a lot of money at the Truist. That's what he does.
But then I remembered that, yeah, I need to save him for a SIG event
Yeah, he'll
so I
get you a
can
lot
get
of
my
money.
cash up a little bit more. But yeah, I'm looking forward to Colonial, man. I
I'm
think it
declaring,
is,
I have a declaration to make.
yes.
Scheffler doesn't win. We have picked a winner this week.
So the without Scheffler card here.
Yes, the without Scheffler card is producing a winner.
Okay. I dig that.
I agree because I think Aaron Rai is the best bet on the board this week.
Yeah, I agree.
Mm.
Yeah.
And Twitter
You wanna
agrees
know-
too. I think he's the second.
I was talking with Schleber earlier. I don't know if there's been a worse bet all year than Spieth 22-1 this week.
I'd agree. I mean, he's a bad bet every week.
He is usually pretty poorly valued.
Yeah, and I'm not even trying to be a hater here. He's
But is anybody actually on him though?
Spieth is 13th in my model. 13th.
Schleber's already placed a bet on him this
Oh
week.
my
this
gosh.
week.
I don't see it.
I
It's
mean,
funny too, because Bob and I did a good job using him. Like the Byron was like the best chance I've given him so far this year.
yeah,
I
that was a
picked
good
him
use.
anywhere else because I just can't
I
pick him
thought
in a
too many
big field.
birdies were going to be required. The best chance I've given him so far this year.
Well, you picked him twice, so
What was the best chance I'd given
win?
Spieth to win this year?
None of them. I think you did say that leading into this swing that he needs to either pop at Ranch or Colonial.
Unfortunately, the non-competitive T2 might have been the pop.
And so
he's gotten worse every week of the stretch so far, which is just.
I mean, I also said that this third of the season had to be not worse than the first, and it very much is.
well,
It's
yeah,
a big 2 weeks
is-
coming up.
Yeah. It would be nice to add. Be
Be
nice to get back on track with the results.
it would be nice if Alpha Hag Nicholas decided to stiff Spieth of an exemption.
Well, if he's gonna give Fowler one, then I think he might as well
yeah.
make sure Spieth has one as
You're
well.
gonna be there, Bob. That would kill me if he didn't get in a memorial.
He's in them. I mean, yeah,
He's gonna get in, but like
Jack
that's-
wouldn't do that.
like
He's
missing
also,
API is one thing, missing memorial.
I wouldn't really care. I could fly home earlier. I could go to my meeting Tuesday and Wednesday for
you
work
could come
and
to
fly
Oakmont.
home. Yeah. Get a week off before mental reparations will be needed for following him around Oakmont for a few days.
Yeah.
If he can't judge the lies at Valero, my lord. How are
Well-
we judging the lies at Oakmont?
Well, yeah. I mean, is the ball even going to be findable at Oakmont?
It'll be
I've heard the
tears
rough's
for
gonna be
multiple
2 feet
players.
tall.
at Oakmont.
Yeah. I have a feeling there's going to be tears from one of the big three. Truly.
At Oakmont?
And I think it might be Scheffler.
Yeah, if he hits it like he did on the front nine on Sunday, I guess it could be.
I just don't see Bryson playing poorly at Oakmont.
No. His
I just
floor-
don't see fairway accuracy being big enough. I just
Yeah,
think
but
it's
even then, he's been
completely
accurate this
bomb
year,
and
too.
dodge. Yeah, he is accurate. I'm just
Like-
saying, like,
He needs to just find a ball that goes straighter when it hits his irons.
that was a poor.
That's an
It's funny
absurd
because, like, I
comment.
appreciate that quote because if you can learn to understand that what's coming out of his mouth isn't actually what he's thinking,
Yeah.
like, what he's saying is he wants to find a ball that when he puts a certain swing on it will spin less, essentially, which means fly straighter. But the way he says it is the reason why the people who hate him. But I can get past that because I like him. So I kind of appreciate it for someone like, because he's just a very different cat. He's got a really weird brain. And I like that he talks like he's vocal and he says what his weird brain's thinking. I appreciate it.
Yeah.
I don't think it
No,
was a great bite, but
it's a great comment. I mean,
yeah,
At least
it
he
goes
talked to
up
the
there.
media.
yeah,
Yeah.
that's true. Props to Amanda for recognizing that. Her ex-husband
Yes.
Rory didn't say anything.
He went
There
there.
we are.
We're off the
This is
rails.
quite the episode.
Yes.
We've touched
It's
a
all
lot of
about
bases.
1-1.
We
We did
did.
do one about an hour and a half, so
Yeah. If you somehow made it here,
we did. There
congrats.
was a lot to talk about.
Yeah.
Congrats to everyone who gets to listen to. And this has been a full hour and a half of real talk. We haven't rambled for 20 minutes on random topics.
No.
I guess we kind of did in the middle of the episode, but like it's fine.
Yeah, but that's
Still golf
part of
related.
it.
Yeah.
It's all right. Anyway, I've got nothing more.
I'm ready to go to bed.
Excited for this week. No overseed.
Yes. I wins. Get ready
Yeah.
to get gusted, boys.
Yep.
That's well put.
Cool. Well, until the Sunday night live celebration pod.
Won't be
Yep.
this week.
Yeah.
See you, bro.
Peace.